What do flat-screen TVs, DNA forensics and the weight loss drug Ozempic have in common? They all exist because the US government paid scientists to study things that, at the time, seemed completely useless. We're talking about rotting carrots, salt ponds and lizard venom. But right now that engine of discovery is stalling out. Under President Donald Trump, the US government is gutting scientific research. The NIH has already cut nearly $2 billion in approved grants. The National Science Foundation has terminated over 1,400 grants, and the proposed budget for 2026 aims to slash non-defense research by a massive 36%. The argument is usually that we should only fund useful science, applied work that makes money right away. But today, we're going to look at why that strategy is dangerous. We're going to look at the blue skies research that changed the world and ask, if we stop funding the weird stuff, what future miracles are we deleting? Basic research is the type of science that is easily mocked. It's driven by curiosity, not profit. As John Holdren points out, the private sector, companies like Apple or Pfizer, will never invest enough in this kind of ground-level work. Why? Because the return on investment takes too long, and the results are uncertain. That is why funding fundamental research is the government's responsibility. And the return on that investment, it's massive. Let's prove it. Here are 5 stories of useless science that saved the world. Story number 1. The hot spring. In the summer of 1966, an undergrad named Hudson Freeze was living in a cabin at Yellowstone National Park. He spent his days dodging bears and traffic jams to collect bacteria from near boiling hot springs. His mentor, Thomas Brock, thought life might exist in these boiling temperatures. It seemed like a purely academic biological question. They found a bacterium called Thermus aquaticus that loved the heat. Fast forward to the 1980s. A biochemist named Kary Mullis needed to replicate DNA quickly, but the process required high heat that destroyed normal enzymes. But do you remember that Yellowstone bacteria? Its enzymes loved heat. That discovery led to the invention of PCR. Today, PCR is used for everything. It matches organ donors, diagnoses cancer, and acts as the backbone of DNA forensics used by police to catch killers. All because a kid was curious about slime in a hot spring. Story number 2. The carrot. In 1888, a botanist named Friedrich Reinitzer was extracting chemicals from carrot roots. He found crystals that acted strangely. They had properties of both a liquid and a solid. He called them liquid crystals. For decades, physicists hated this idea. It broke their rules of solid-liquid gas. The research sat on a shelf, ignored because everyone thought it would never be of any use. Until the late 1960s, when engineers realized these crystals could be manipulated by electricity to block light. Today, you are likely watching this video on a screen made of them. Liquid crystal displays, LCDs. From smart materials to anti-counterfeiting tech, this useless botany experiment built the modern digital world. Story number 3 involves the hottest drug on the market right now, Ozempic. Currently, drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy are a $100 billion industry, but their origin story involves a venomous lizard. In the 1990s, researchers were studying a hormone called GLP-1 that helps regulate insulin. The problem? It broke down in the human body in minutes, making it useless as a drug. But scientists found a similar peptide in the venom of the Gila monster, a lizard from the US Southwest. This lizard version was tougher and longer lasting. By mimicking the lizard venom, scientists created synthetic versions that could last in the human body. This led to drugs that treat diabetes, and, as we now know, cause significant weight loss. The list goes on. CRISPR, the gene editing tool that won a Nobel Prize and is curing sickle cell disease. That started with Francisco Mojica studying salt ponds in Spain, wondering why bacteria had weird repeating DNA sequences. Or, take Claire Patterson. In the 1950s, he was just trying to figure out the age of the Earth by dating meteorites, but his lab samples kept getting contaminated by lead. To solve his rock dating problem, he built a clean lab and realized the lead wasn't just in his lab. It was in the atmosphere, the oceans, everywhere. His basic research into ancient rocks proved that leaded gasoline was poisoning the planet. His work led to the ban on leaded gas, saving millions of lives and trillions of dollars. Here is the reality. When the government cuts blue skies research by 36%, they aren't just saving money on silly projects, they are potentially cutting the funding for the 2050 equivalent of the MRI machine. They are canceling the grant that would have discovered the next antibiotic in a jungle fungus. As former science advisor John Holdren says, cuts to basic research hit us hard because the private sector won't pick up the slack. We are trading the medical and technological breakthroughs of our children's future for short-term budget cuts today. History shows that the most practical, profitable, and life-saving discoveries usually come from a scientist asking a question that seems to have no point, until it changes everything. What do you think? Is the government right to tighten its belt, or is science the one thing we shouldn't touch? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Curious K channel for more in-depth dives into the science that shapes our world.